This is
Chat the Great. Red Clouds is such a tune and it's such a groover. Like I can't not move to it. Love the feel and the vibe of it. And I saw that you were doing a lot of listening to a lot of sort of like lo-fi 80s while you were creating that. Was that something that was going on while you were doing that?
Yeah, I had an 80s. There was a track that came up on Spotify and I was like, this is pretty cool. And then I clicked on it and then there's like artists you might like, and I started clicking in and I just kept clicking and clicking. It's kind of like that game on Wikipedia where you have like a starting word and a finishing word and you have to get from like mobile phone to porcupine in like 10 clicks. And I started just clicking through and I was like, whoa, this is weird. And then I realized like, wow, all these bands from like, it was like an era of it was like a subgenre of like rock, of like, because in my head I had this like fantasy about it when I was listening to it, where like these were the bands that weren't recording in recording studios. These were the bands who maybe one of the guys in the band had a tape machine in their basement and everyone went over and recorded there. And I just stumbled across like this weird like pocket of music that didn't sound professionally recorded but was from the 80s and was like rock, and it was very cheesy love rock. So I wanted to do that. I was like, yeah, fuck it. Like sometimes I like to write music that's kind of, it's not necessarily the most genuine thing in terms of like this comes from the heart. It like this came from the heart, but it was like a challenge. It was like, I want to write a song like that. I just want to do it. It doesn't always have to be like this thing that means something completely to you. It can be like, I really love that style. I want to try it. And then you do it well and you're like, that's cool. I'm going to put that on the record. Like
100%.
It doesn't have to always be like, oh yeah, you know, this happened in 2010 and I felt like this. I've done that many a time on records. So yeah, Red Clouds for me is like this nostalgic dive into like this world, kind of like purposefully. I don't want to say bad because it's not a bad song.
It's not at all.
Love it. Like it's like purposefully a bit cringy and a bit like, you know, like not cringy, but like it's
just
love.
Catchy. It's an earworm. Like you just, it's something you can escape to. You just makes you feel good. Like
yeah. It's like I wanted to take people like to this weird era. Like, you know, you put it on in the car at like 10 p.m. when you're driving on an empty road.
Yeah.
The windows on and it's like, hey.
Because the video you did was just perfect for it as well. Yeah. It just went so. Where did you shoot the video?
So I've got a friend in Liverpool who owns like a video studio called Vessel Studios, and he turns around videos so quickly. Like we filmed it at 11 a.m. till 1 p.m. So like 2 hours, and then he sent me the edit by like 9 p.m. And it was
my God. That's
like
so
he's really good, and he's very reasonably priced. And it was during lockdown, so like between the lockdowns, like, you know, the government were announcing we're going to open up. I think it was before December, before we went into the Christmas one. And I was like, I've got to get a video for Red Clouds done. So my partner, she made like all the set and stuff. And
amazing.
We went to B&Q together. We picked up all the wood and we painted it together. And like, you know, it's completely like DIY. There was no like, you know, there was a set designer, like she was set, but it wasn't like you know, there was no team involved in the sense like a lot of videos are done like that. It was just like very DIY, and I emailed him. I was like, can we get a day in your studio? And showed him a few references of like QVC shopping channels and stuff like that. So the whole idea with it was like meant to be around like the times when I used to I couldn't sleep, so I'd go downstairs and you just put the TV on and you just flick every single channel because it was like 3 a.m, 4 a.m, you just can't sleep. Reason, and then you stumble across like right at the back of the TV channels, like channel 650, and it's like shopping channels, like weird, like preacher God channels, religious channels. So it was meant to be a bit of that, and it was meant to be about this guy, and I imagined him like going into the film studio, and like it's like 4 a.m, and he's got to perform, sell people CDs, and get back in his car and drive home. And it was you know, in my head, I always think like that. Maybe it's me. Maybe it could be a reflection of me, a subconscious reflection.
There you go. It all sums back around, doesn't it?
Yeah. Could be.
But it's
um,
nice because it is a very visual track though, and I think that you can hear how you want it to look sometimes, can't you, with
yeah,
videos and stuff,
exactly.
like the way a
Like
track sounds.
if I didn't have lockdown, like I would have, and I had a budget. If I had a budget, I would have done something like, with like flares and like,
Oh yeah.
windows down and people putting their hands, sailing through the wind with their hand, and like I would have gone like down like the cliche, more cliche route for
Yeah.
sure, just for the fun of it. I'm not one to like steer away from that or take myself too seriously. In that sense, like like whenever I do music videos, I always say to the director, "What do you want to do?" And I'm just like, just do that, and then just send it to me. Like if I kind of I never have like set in stone ideas about how I want things to look or feel. I just pick people who like, oh, their videos all look good. So just do what you did for those videos. Like you're clearly good at that. So just go for it.